And we're live. Hello, everyone. Followers of Alex's Autism Acceptance channel, thank you so much for tuning in tonight on this Thursday Live. Here with um, uh, someone who goes to the same school as me. Her name is Faith. Thank you so much for being here, Faith.
Thank you so much for having me.
Me and Faith are also going to meet up sometime this March to discuss about the music industry. But for now, we're going to talk about basically what I like to call the real issue of why autism can be difficult. So we're going to start this off by asking: are there any effects of autism that make it difficult by itself? Such as like when you are alone or in your Zen spot, so to speak.
Okay, before I answer that, can I introduce myself really quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, so hi, my name is Faith, but I go by my artist name, Janae. I am currently a sophomore music therapy student with the voice primary at Eastern Michigan University. At this point, I'm also an independent R&B recording artist, and the songs I have include "Find My Way," "Maybe We," and "Damage," and that's available on all streaming platforms. And the artist name is Janae, as you see below. So that's it. So back
Fantastic.
to your question.
Yeah.
Back to your question.
Yeah. So, are there any effects of autism that make it difficult by itself? So, like when you're on your own or like in your Zen space.
That's a good question. I guess my thing with it would kind of be, I guess it's a lot of thoughts. Like sometimes you
Mhm.
have a lot of thoughts in your head, and me as an independent artist is trying to like think about what I write and what I sing about, but you're constantly thinking about what other people might respond.
Mm,
And me, my main issue with a lot of things is the fear of not knowing.
right.
So it's anticipation vamps up my anxiety and I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think to answer your question, it's basically not knowing how your audience is going to respond or how people are going to respond in a conversation. And also, I do take criticism, but sometimes when it's like on personal criticism, you take it way too hard and it feels like an attack. But
Hmm.
over time in this industry and growing up into an adult, I learned don't take it too personal all the time. Sometimes it's
Right.
for your best benefit. And if someone's telling you something and it's kind hearted and it's genuine, it's for your development.
Absolutely. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely relatable. I know for me, like I am a very creative mind, so like I write books and I
Mhm.
write songs. I mean, they don't. I mean, it's just for me. Like it's not for selling or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when I write those songs, like there's just so much going through my head, and it kind of like helps sort my thoughts out because I'm sure you can attest to this. With autism, it's like a hive mind. Um, just like clearing that out a little bit.
Yeah. It's a hive
Yeah,
mind.
and I definitely get the constructive criticism as well. And like when I'm making a video for this YouTube channel, I'm like, oh boy, how are people gonna see this?
Hmm.
And like, did I make a topic that's too controversial? Will I get like too many negative things, which will like shut off my viewers from even before even starting, basically. So yeah, I definitely get with that. Yeah, the waiting tends to be so much worse than the actual event. I have experience with that, especially because I just got done with a concert for one of my churches, and just
I
waiting to
mean,
go on
yeah,
stage.
yeah,
Yep. hmm
yeah,
and then when the music started, and
yeah.
I
I
was
have that issue.
right, stage fright. Yeah.
Hmm.
So second
Yeah, I have that
question.
issue when I'm performing.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, second
Yeah.
question, what is the biggest challenge that autism presents when being in front of or in large crowds?
It kind of ties into the first question is the anticipation
Hmm.
and not knowing. And I can remember, like, when I was a little girl, I was always, I still sing in church now, but my grandfather, who is also a musician and he's a pastor, he would ask me to sing something every Sunday. And so I would be like super nervous and I'd be like, I just want to play sick and stay home because I just don't want to do it because I was that scared.
Yeah.
And when I'm up there on stage, it's like all of that just washes away. And I think it's the Holy Spirit that gives me guidance personally. But from that time, I would be up there and I grab the mic and I'm like, oh my God, because in my head, it's like there's thousands of eyes looking at me.
Yes. Yeah.
And then my parents or family members would be like, well, just sing back with your back towards them. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then you got to eventually grow out of that because you don't want to be 24 singing at the Grammys with your
Right.
back turned. I mean, some people make it work. Like Sia has her hair covered, but that's for like a different reason. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's just when you had so many people watching you, it was the pressure. So being that young, and then after the fact, people would say, oh, you're doing so good, or I was blessed by your ministry and all the different stuff. So it was very reassuring.
Yes.
And as you're performing, when you keep doing it, the fear goes away, but the nervousness stays.
Hmm.
You're always going to be nervous unless if you did it like every single day, especially if you're in a new crowd. And
Right.
sometimes, depending on your crowd, can be different. Like your own peers can be tougher than family and
Hmm.
adults because people your own age can be more crucial, or even the elderly population as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because some people just don't sugarcoat anything. So
Yeah.
it just depends. It was me more seeing the eyes of everything and thinking, overthinking, overthinking what people might say.
Sure. Yeah.
But after the fact, it's reassuring to get positive comments, and you're going to get negative comments every now and then because that's
Hmm.
just, it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it with that question. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, yeah, that absolutely answers that, and I as well have a lot of the same experiences. Like,
Mhm.
when I heard there was going to be like 3,000 people that could fill the seats at each concert, I kind of got nervous a little bit because I was like 3,000 eyes on me. Oh my goodness, because like obviously I struggle with that eye contact and all that. And
Yeah.
like the social cues after the show and all that. But one thing that really helped was my director told me to just keep my eyes on him and like
Yep.
focus on his
Your
cues
focal point.
so
Yep.
I can know what to sing. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that took away a lot of the anxiety because it was essentially what we did at rehearsals, where
Hmm.
like I couldn't really see anyone, just hear the applause and all that. And the other thing too is that I kind of don't really like being in the spotlight.
Hmm.
And the thing is, we have such a massive church that I go to, so we have
Hmm.
like a really massive choir,
Yeah.
because of that. So kind of just being hidden almost in those in the rest of that choir, it was like okay, I just kind of gotta be my own guy and like not do anything special.
Yeah.
So that was really beneficial. Um, but definitely that Holy Spirit moving through you, I could definitely relate to that.
Yeah. How
I,
I
I
oh,
yeah, well, there were a lot of really cool events that God provided through the church production.
absolutely.
There's an entire video talking about that because a lot went down with that. Um, but yeah, yeah, definitely answered that.
Yeah.
If situations in large crowds get difficult, what strategies do you do to prevent that difficulty?
Pray. That's
Hmm.
the number thing that I do. Like before I sing, I have basically like a mini concert or a ministry to myself because like how can you help someone else if you don't even have yourself together?
Yes.
And as artists, we perform for other people. We're doing so much like for other people, and it's a ministry and it's helping other people too, but we often neglect ourselves.
Hmm.
So sometimes I have to be in backstage before I sing and pray, and just be like, Lord, you are good. You've been so good.
Hmm.
You've been better than good. I can't praise you enough. I owe you my life. I can't thank you enough. Even if I try, 'cause you've been so good to me.
Hey.
And I have to do that, and it'll be random stuff because it pumps my energy and it pumps my adrenaline,
Hmm.
so I can be prepared and have the proper mindset to sing to anybody else, no matter what genre you're singing. It could be R&B, gospel, classical, anything. And I've even learned, like going back to the previous question, expect the unexpected.
Right.
Because I'm always the kind of person where I have to know every single detail so I can be prepared for many different outcomes, and I won't have to hear "I told you so" or "I don't have to say that."
Hmm. Right.
Sometimes you just have to embrace what happens, and what God has for you is for you. So when you let Him guide you in whatever you're doing in your music, it could be a mind blowing experience, and it benefits
Yes.
not only the people, but it benefits you, and it motivates you to keep pushing and to keep going, and that your work is not in vain. So that's that.
Oh, that's such a good response. So relatable too. And I'll be posting this video to my choir page. Just
Okay.
and I'm sure that that'll stick with every single person that like gets this far into the interview. Um, have you noticed an objective change in society's view on autism from when you discovered you had it until now?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, so from the time you discovered you had autism until now, have you noticed an objective change in society's view?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So when I was diagnosed when I was 2.
Okay.
And with I'm gonna make it very short. So
Yeah.
I had PDD. I forget what it stands for, but it's a mild version of autism. And I wasn't talking until about age 4 or 5, but I was always
Mm,
singing and I was
right.
always performing. And then when I perform or when I'm walking around meeting people like in school or whatever, and they see my talent, they see me and my raw talent. But when I actually talk to people and tell my story, they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know you had autism."
Mm,
And I'm like,
I can relate. Yeah.
yeah, that's the blessing in it, because I don't want to be seen as, oh, the girl, she can sing, but she also the girl who has autism or the girl who's autistic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I want to be seen as one of the greatest artists in the world. But yeah, she has that, but that's that. She's
Hmm.
mainly an awesome singer. And I was able to defy all odds. Like, people with autism, they can persevere. They can do anything that a typical person can do, if not more.
Right.
And it amazes myself and it amazes other people how much musical capabilities that I have on my own, when
Hmm.
people think that autistic people are incapable of that.
Right.
So I teach myself a lesson every day, and well, I learn from myself every day, and people learn from me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I always find that so interesting how people can assume that people with autism are not good at the arts, because in reality that's often our strong suit
Mm-hmm.
for the vast majority, because we are very good at communicating through arts,
Mm-hmm.
because we have trouble communicating naturally. So we tend to do it through paintings or through music,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we're very good at that a majority of the time. So very interesting. Yeah. Um, so do you believe that society's response to this condition makes it harder than the condition itself, or vice versa?
I say it's like a mixed bag,
Okay.
in my personal opinion, because when you tell like, if you tell someone the word autism, what they're automatically going to think is like someone who's nonverbal or lashes out or maybe like rocks
Mm,
back and forth. But we have to remember that autism is not one set in stone thing.
Absolutely.
It's a whole big spectrum. There could be
Yeah.
someone who is severely nonverbal, I mean, or they could be talking away. And or there could be people like us, or there could be others. So it's like you can't really pinpoint what it is.
Right.
And I lost my train of thought. Repeat the second part of that question.
What it was just like a vice versa, like which part makes it harder, society
Oh,
or the condition itself? Yeah.
okay. With the condition itself, it's more it's very hard. It was very hard when I was younger to make friends because the
Hmm.
things that I would talk about, it wasn't interesting to other people or they
Yeah,
wouldn't
it was
get it.
pinpointed, right?
Yeah, it was pinpointed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like in school, I would everyone want to talk about what's the latest thing they saw on TV, but I want to talk about science stuff.
Right.
And I guess communication was very hard
Yeah.
during that time. So it's just a mixed bag. So it's good to find people that understand. It's great to find people that understand like what it is and that see you for you instead of see you with a label that you have a condition.
Hmm.
So yeah.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I can absolutely relate to that. I know. From second through fifth grade, all I wanted to talk about was roller coasters. So yeah. Oh, I think you're frozen a little bit.
Uh-oh. I think the
Oh,
screen
there you
has
are.
frozen.
Okay. Hmm. Maybe on my end. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yes. There you are. Okay. Yeah, you're fine. It's just a little blurry now. I don't know why,
Okay. I think
but
for okay. And I
you're kind of going in and out.
and it freezes. Of course.
Yeah,
Okay, are we back?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Are we good
Okay.
now?
All right. My bad. Yes. There's always some sort of technical difficulty
Yes.
during my Thursday live, so no worries. Oh, I think you.
Trying to desperately figure this out. Okay, are we better now?
There we are. Okay.
Okay, good.
Yes. Shoot. Let me. Um. Okay.
Okay.
Do you see? Yeah. Okay. Do you see room for improvement for society's reaction to autism? And if so, what do you think can be improved on?
Absolutely. I think the route on how we can improve is more exposure.
Okay.
More exposure, autism awareness, and to actually openly have a conversation and have it more pushed in the media is a way that we can have people understand.
Oops.
Okay, I don't know why it froze again. Do I need to repeat that question? I mean, repeat the answer?
Yeah. Let's just start over.
Okay, let's start over.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying that exposure is the key to know how we can meet a common ground so we can more push it in the media and have a conversation about it in our communities and in all different
Right.
communities because it's definitely not talked about in minorities communities or smaller communities that could possibly have lack of resources and information.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into detail what population that could be because it could be anybody.
Right.
I
Exactly. Yeah.
think yeah, I think if we get it more into the public and get it more to our schools and show like people in entertainment and politics, people who have that condition, it can shed a positive light on it as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I yeah, we just don't have enough of that. Like, people don't. I haven't seen much during like World Autism Awareness Week and all that. Like not even live streams or like hiring thing because we need to get that
Yeah,
hiring problem solved. Um,
yeah,
I firmly believe companies need to have like a hiring week, um,
mm-hmm,
for people with autism during that week.
mm-hmm,
That's just one idea out of many. But my thoughts get jumbled up, so that's
yeah,
kind of the only thing I can think of now.
yeah. We just have to talk about it more.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, the more I talk, the more ideas come out
yeah,
naturally. Um,
absolutely.
which is why I created this channel. Like I have over 100 videos, talking
That's
about
cool.
stuff. Yeah, that just comes to mind that I didn't think of before. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Final question here: how big of a role do you think? Oh, I'm sorry, you already answered that.
Did
It
I?
was how big of a role do you think advocacy for acceptance of this condition plays in society? Obviously, it is huge.
It is very huge.
Yeah, and I think once we can get the internal workings on people fixed, I think
Mm-hmm.
that can extend to external as well,
Yeah.
because a lot of the people that give us problems, with the external, um, which is like, employers and, uh, priests and
Mm-hmm.
everyone like that. Like when it comes to marriage and all that, there's often some internal stuff that needs to be, brought to light. Well, not
Yeah.
brought to light, but like improved upon. So
Yeah, I
absolutely,
think a good way we could advocate is that we have people with autism that speak up.
yeah. That's
Because,
why I created
yeah,
that. Well, yeah, that's why I
I have
created
ran
this.
into people in my life that have said they are ashamed of what they have and is shunned upon because of the response of people in their community. But
Yes.
I can be a testament to God Himself. It is nothing to be ashamed of. You can still
No.
do anything you put your mind, spirit, soul, and body into.
Amen to that.
Anything you want is for you for the taking. You just have to do it, no matter what.
Amen to that. And it's sad to say that unfortunately, a lot of people have lost that view that anybody can be anything. But I personally know that's true, that anybody can do anything.
Yeah,
So, Faith, thank you so
yeah.
much for coming on. You're a lovely guest, and I look forward to seeing you in March.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Yes, have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you. You too.